The threat for a few isolated severe storms does appear possible across Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio tomorrow, but the threat does not look too high. In this video, I'm going to explain why that's the case, and I'm also going to explain the cooler weather, thank goodness, that is coming this way later in the week. Hello everybody, the time is 7:53 p.m. and it is September 5th. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes Weather. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. Thanks to all who joined and jumped into the Mackinac Bridge live stream that we did on Labor Day. There were almost 36,000 people there according to what some news sources were saying. So that is a very large number, larger than any group we've had since 2016. So great event. Actually heard that a few people were there that recognized my channel, so good to see you guys out there, and it was a great chance just to enjoy that construction. That was it's a pretty impressive construction, the 5th largest suspension bridge in the world, so definitely a cool sight to witness. And I just noticed a freighter got in that shot there that I took from him on Monday, so pretty neat. But I'm going to be talking about the severe weather threat that for much of the Great Lakes region that we have tomorrow. I think that threat's low. Despite that, though, low end, I'm probably still going to storm chase it. I do see the potential for a decent amount of lightning. So let's get right to it with the SPC's forecast. Okay, so this is Storm Prediction Center's website. Again, you have the ability to access this wherever you are. It is just spc.noaa.gov, so you can see it for yourself. Marginal risk for severe thunderstorms is present across pretty much all the lower peninsula of Michigan except for the extreme southwest corner. Western Indiana is not included in this either. Eastern Indiana and Ohio are included in a severe weather threat. Now, I will say the potential for tornadoes and hail in our area is pretty much non-existent. I say severe hail and tornadoes is probably not going to happen with this setup. Why? Low wind shear. We have all the other ingredients in place for severe weather except for wind shear. That wind shear is not going to be in place. We will have instability. We will have a lifting mechanism that's present, but we will not have that wind shear that exists and causes stronger storms. So that's just something to keep in mind when you look at this. As you can see, the SPC highlights this with the hail threat being focused down to the south, wind threat being focused across Michigan, Eastern Indiana, Ohio, and then areas to the south as well. With the lack of wind shear, you do not have strong enough updrafts to produce tornadoes and hail, so that's really the expectation with this, is mainly damaging winds, heavy rain, and hail. So let's take a look at what the models are projecting this as. It's going to be a shorter video because it's not too big of a threat, but we're just going to cover the gist of what is going to be happening. So here we have the latest models from the HRRR. We're going to compare that to the NAM also, which allows more convection to pop up. As you can see, you have those storms that are popping up this evening and into tonight. There is severe weather going on across Minnesota right now. There were a few thunderstorms across Hillsdale County today and areas to the east in eastern Michigan that caused some strong winds, not damaging winds, but strong winds and some lightning. So that did occur in that region. Those are probably dying out at this point. But you do see there's a low pressure system moving in. This low pressure system will not be accompanied by much wind shear. Okay, so if you pause it at this particular point, this is actually during Wednesday morning. Okay, so Wednesday morning is when this is being shown. It is showing a lot of convection ongoing across southwestern Michigan. So because of that, I think the threat for severe weather may go down even lower due to the loss of instability and maybe some remaining cloud cover associated with this rainfall as well. So that's probably going to be something that we have to watch out for. There probably will be a little bit of clearing on the backside of this, but I don't expect too strong of storms, but there will be redevelopment of convection across central lower Michigan, northeastern Michigan, and maybe some ongoing convection across northwestern Michigan as well. You get a sounding ahead of these storms. You see that marginal severe potential present on these. You do have surface cape, you have mixed layer cape. I think the presence of higher mixed layer cape, surface cape, and 3 cape will enable more lightning to occur. I think there's going to be a pretty impressive lightning show with these. Despite the lower wind shear that is present, you can see that there is not much storm relativity and very low amounts of shear, not too much directional sheet spear. You do notice that in the upper levels, you do have strong winds, but they're kind of out of the southeast. It doesn't really look like the lower level winds are going to be very strong enough to foster stronger storms. So that's why the wind shear is low, the storm relativity is pretty low. But you do have the instability and the higher temperatures in the 80s during that time, with marginal severe potential present and tornado potential pretty much not present. So mainly damaging wind, lightning, and heavy rain associated with these storms moving through. They are also going to be moving pretty slow. They won't really move too quickly, also because of the lower winds that are present with this system. But you do notice they kind of settle over one area, and they could pop up in different places too. They might pop up farther east, they may pop up farther west. Timing of these storms looks to be around 3 p.m. So I'm going to go out and chase these because they'll be right in my general vicinity, and I'll be able to get right on these southern storms. I really won't go too far though. It'll probably be mainly just the southern portion of lower Michigan at this point, and maybe getting into a little bit into eastern Michigan, but not going to go too far for this one. So it's going to be in this general area, rather just really photogenic thunderstorm potential possibly. So definitely going to get an opportunity to chase those. Maybe down in Indiana and Ohio too, they will pop up. Indiana does look to have a convective line starting to form, and it looks like the storms may not make it into Ohio until later on in the evening, and they may actually even die out by then, according to the HRRR model. Look at the NAM model, and it allows more convection to occur. You see it kind of takes off on this storm front here, but it projects there will not be as much convection ongoing in the morning, according to this model, the NAM. But as we get in the afternoon, you do notice those storms begin to fire once again around 3 p.m. across Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. You get a sounding ahead of the main line of storms, showing again that marginal severe potential. It's a similar graphic to the HRRR even, although it does point out there is going to be higher CAPE present with this. Still low wind shear, low storm relative velocity, less spin in the atmosphere. So models really come together that this is mainly a damaging wind threat, not necessarily a robust tornado or hail threat. I don't even think we'll see hail or tornadoes from this in much of a case. And again, models may change. They may pick up a little bit of wind shear. I don't think that's likely though at this point. So you do see the storms still continue through about 8 p.m. moving through, organizing into a line. I don't know what that was, but you do have that severe storm setup that is present with this. All right, so severe weather potential possible, and there could be some wind shear, but it looks like the wind shear values remain really low at this point. So southern Michigan, east Indiana, western Ohio, it looks like those storms will die out before they reach Ohio. That's just a thing to keep in mind. So that's the general gist of what's going on. Now I'm going to turn it over to what we might see after this moves through with the 500 millibar height anomaly. Again, this keeps in check the pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere when it changes. Okay, so you do notice that the pressure decreases here at the 500 millibar level, which means it is likely going to be higher pressure at the ground. Okay, so that means that it will be a high pressure system that will kind of calm things down a little bit, and we will have a cooler air mass on the back side. So that's actually going to kind of settle over the area for the remainder of the week, giving us cool and comfortable temperatures. Dew points may drop even down into the mid-upper 40s, which will make things feel quite comfortable. Good time to get out there and mow your lawn later on this week. Okay, and then there's going to be a new system that I'm watching as we get into next week that does appear to show the potential for a few showers and thunderstorms. Severe weather looks unlikely still with this on most models, but we'll have to keep track on it because it does show that air mass deepening and as it approaches Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio, which may increase severe chances in some parts of the Great Lakes region. So that's the next thing to keep in mind for later. For now, make sure to subscribe and stay updated. I'll continue to provide updates as these different events come through. I will likely be doing a storm chase tomorrow for at least a few hours across parts of southern lower Michigan, so make sure to check that out. And thanks for watching, and peace out.